Hotties. What are some perks that you've gotten for being attractive? Pulled over for going 62 and a 45 in a small town. Got off with a warning. Bumped a car in the parking lot. Guy said don't worry about it and asked me on a date. Bumped a car on the road. Older gentleman got out and gave me a hug for saying I was sorry. Realizing I may not be a good driver after typing all this out. Story 2. Not to toot my own horn, but I've never gotten blamed for farts. I have horrendous, rancid farts. I unleash one silently in a crowd and no one ever suspects it's me. Sometimes I leave a path of destruction in my path where people behind me will start gagging or blaming each other. Story 3. I used to recognize I got some sort of special treatment, but back in 2020, winter of 2020, when the mask mandates hit and I had to wear my giant winter jacket, I live in Canada, I realized just how much privilege I get. I noticed when people didn't really see what I looked like, I stopped getting random acts of kindness from others. I got interrupted more. No one held the door open for me or gave up their seat for me. A lot of perks I got, discounts, freebies that I attributed to being a nice person pretty much disappeared too. On the other hand, there was something kind of nice about the invisibility. I felt under the radar in a way that was often very comfortable. No one is really more rude, just doesn't notice you. Without the mask experience, I honestly am not sure I would have noticed that I even had a lot of these perks. It just felt normal until I experienced the contrast. Story 4. As somebody who lived on both sides, I'll tell you, it's incredibly easier to get through life when you take care of yourself. As a former below-average kid, I'll tell you the confidence goes through the roof. As long as you retrain your ability to empathize with others and still maintain the necessary distance to not immediately show romantic intent with the opposite gender, you're received so much better by everybody. Story 5. My sweet summer child, the hotties are not terminally online. They're too busy succeeding at all other facets of life. Alright guys, want to know how many real humans were in this thread? The number may confound and annoy you. Counting my account as a human, a grand total of 27 humans were here. The rest are bots. Yes, that's correct. There's 2,240 responses here as of 4:24 p.m. on July 8th, 2025, and the vast majority have been made by bots. A couple hundred accounts with only 27 being active human beings. As long as you give me a margin of error of 15%, but that still only means a max of 2 accounts are misflagged as bots. We are so screwed. Story 6. Conversations with girlfriends have confirmed that people are more likely to be nicer to attractive people. We call it pretty privilege. Men will offer to grab something for me if they can see I'm reaching towards it or walking in that direction. They're more likely to open doors for me. Men touch me more with small gestures like arm, shoulder, upper back, and hand during casual conversations. The creeps take it to the next level and go for legs, lower back, etc. More likely to stop and offer help if they can see I'm stuck doing something. Story 7. I don't necessarily think I'm the most attractive person on planet Earth, but I'd be delusional to not notice I'm treated like I am, so I probably am. I've never not gotten a job I got an interview for on Zoom or in person. Even horrible, rude landlords are nice to me. Promotions and raises come easily. I've had bosses go out of their way to get me paid more or given opportunities to find ways to earn more without asking. My local dispensary seems to always have a 20% discount appear if I so much as hint at having an inconvenience that day. I don't love meeting new people, but I know if I'm going to be in a situation where I might, I'm 95% of the time going to be received well, and if I'm not, it's by a woman with a husband who is absolutely not being subtle looking my way. In absolutely any other situation, I'm received well. The one time I hit someone's car in a parking lot, they apologized for not being visible enough when I was genuinely at fault. 100%. There wasn't any damage, thankfully, but my god, I felt bad that he felt responsible. I don't often want to make new friends. I'm very introverted, but once every 3 years I get the urge, it's very easy. I do not struggle making friends. I struggle wanting to be social. I can go out in genuinely anything clothing-wise and get at least one compliment. No makeup, full face, light makeup, doesn't matter. If I leave my house for more than an hour, I will probably get a compliment from somebody. People are way friendlier to me. I'm very left-leaning and often wear clothes outright mentioning hot topic issues and will have MAGA hats striking up friendly conversations. The shirts are not subtle. My appearance isn't subtle. My area is extremely conservative and I definitely stick out. Story 8. Tons of compliments on my appearance. Also, people asking me for fashion or makeup advice. People are just overall really nice to me. Lots of smiles, holding doors, helping me find places, etc. I'm pretty soft-spoken and don't speak much in groups, but when I do pipe up, everyone immediately stops and pays attention to me. When I was in college, there was this guy in my morning bus who would make origami roses and give them to me when we got off. I walked into Abercrombie & Fitch one time, and the manager chased me down and offered me a job there. Men also always want to give me food. It's usually brownies for some reason. No complaints. I love brownies. Story 9. Fresh out of the gym, I went to the grocery store to buy a couple cartons of ice cream, and the lady in front of me in line bought them for me. The club dancers actually do like me, and I have gone home with them before. All the women managers are nice to me, and I can't relate to a lot of my coworkers' complaints about them because I'm benefiting heavily from the favoritism. I don't have a car, but that's never seemed to be an issue, and when I tell women that, they offer to drive me around, getting onto boat parties for free. I get compliments almost every time I leave my house. I've never had to make the first move. Story 10. When I was 18, my father ran a charity event, and that year struggled to find sponsors. Spent a day driving around in a low-cut top and my makeup done and came home with enough funding to fully sponsor the event. I rarely paid for drinks in college. Never asking, someone would just inevitably jump in and pay. But I hated the attention. The looks were always lewd and I felt unsafe a lot. And things happened where I was definitely unsafe, but I also knew self-defense. At work, it was also ridiculously difficult to be taken seriously by male bosses. Some women, but mostly male. 20 plus years later, it's less so, but I still look fairly young. Now I'm just mostly with my husband. Story 11. I don't necessarily think I'm a hottie, but I just have a different look. I've gotten a lot of free things though. Food, drinks, bars and cafes, family photo shoots. I may be biased, but my kids are beautiful and my husband is also very handsome. Got out of a ticket a couple times. I worked a commission job and was able to get men to spend a lot of money. Lol. Literally was told, if you say it looks good, I'll take it. My husband has pointed out that he just thinks it's all because of who I am overall. I love listening to people's stories and getting to know who they are. Could be a vibe thing. Story 12. I get free stuff at drive-thrus and coffee shops a lot, and people seem to be more willing to help me with stuff, especially at work. I've gotten gift cards from customers, followed by being asked out. When I worked in the night industry, when I was younger, just in retail, not even as a cocktail waitress or anything, I would get tipped with a $100 bill and have had men and couples slide me hotel key cards. I wouldn't say I'm drop-dead gorgeous or hot, TBH. I'm pretty average if you ask me. I think people may just fetishize my ethnicity sometimes, especially older men, despite how I look. Story 13. Recently, I almost missed my train and forgot to buy a train ticket. So I went up to the counter on the other end of the journey and told them, offering to pay, they told me to enjoy my free day. I told this to someone else and they said, lucky there weren't any cops or ticket patrol that caught you. I said what I thought was the most logical thing, that I would have just told them the situation and they would have understood. They laughed at me and said that doesn't happen. Happens to me, all of the time. I thought everyone could just be lovely and get out of trouble. Also, recently I took my partner's car to the car shop and asked them what oil to buy and how to put it in. They said it was against store policy to touch customers' cars as they filled it up for me. Then told me my smile made their day, so it was worth it. Story 14. Free stuff or discounts. Yes, that includes senior citizens, military, and students, even when I'm not. People go out of their way to talk to me. Old ladies ask me for hugs. Doctors spend more time with me in the office. Phone customer service agents also try to keep me on the line. People steal my stuff, including dating partners. Women ask me for fashion advice or random in stores. People ask me to hold their kids or babies. A lot of general compliments. Couples hit on me. People ask me a lot of questions about myself and seem overly interested. More. People bring me their animals to pet and introduce them to me. Kids offering things to me. Random people will come to comfort me if I'm upset when I'm in public. Well, that was a mixed bag of perks. Story 15. Getting hotel room or rental car upgrades. I travel a lot for work, and it took me a while to realize after talking with other colleagues that I got upgrades 3 to 4 times more frequently than my colleagues even at the same events. Being given the benefit of the doubt in meetings, attractiveness coupled with confidence, I get questioned less for my sources and supporting materials when I'm giving presentations in person when people can see me versus when I'm doing them over conference calls where you can't see me. In person is better than on video, but video is better than voice only. I used to prefer voice only until I started to notice the massive benefits and quality questions, and less negativity when I did them in person. Walking into places I don't actually belong. I've been able to go into parties, backstage pass events, met Alicia Keys, lounges, and meetings that I didn't have tickets or wristbands to get into, but looking confident and smiling as I walked through have made it into many events. I noticed after I turned about 35, I did get stopped a little more often than I did in my mid-20s to early 30s, where my success rate was well over 75%. Not in my 40s, I try less with a success rate in the 50% range. Story 16. I'm not hot, but I'm short and cute. Perks in this demographic. People are really nice to me. Random smiles on the street and people are always happy to let their dogs play with me. Dogs seem to go out of their way for pets for me. Babies like me and always stare until I give them a smile and they giggle and play with me. Random compliments on my outfits, which is nice. Jobs. I've been hired for several positions because as an interviewer told me verbatim, you present well. Apartments. I've gotten at least one shared apartment because the main tenant thought I was cute. She was freaking crazy, but the apartment was amazing. And this can be a blessing or a voodoo, but people often have no idea how old I am or that I'm really smart. So in casual settings, they often underestimate me. Can be good or bad, depending on the situations. Story 17. As someone who has bounced back and forth between hot and not hot like a damn ping pong ball, it is wild seeing the difference. I work for a luxury company, and when I'm in uniform, I've noticed people are way more patient. Want to start a conversation, help me carry parts, and outside of work, I've gone discounts. more food added to a burrito, and met band members. Conversely, when I'm out of uniform with my face covered in a recurring rash, belly swollen from gastroparesis, cystic acne flaring, limp from other medical conditions, people act horrified I left my tower or something. Story 18. Okay, so I never considered myself hot or successful, but it could be said that I had some interesting and unusual experiences in life compared to my family and some peers, and I didn't fail where perhaps I should have. An example could be going backstage at shows or just generally getting invites out by touring bands, but never putting out, so it couldn't have been the convenience of that piece. Getting a birthday party catered for free by a chef who I met at a bar the night before said birthday, where I had gone with two male friends and we all drank for free because, who knows, apparently the staff wanted to practice making drinks. And getting moved to first class because flight attendant was convinced I was famous and denying it. Wish I'd asked who they thought I was. Some of my friends joked that I probably looked like a corn star that we never would have seen. Who knows? Anyway, all that to say, I never considered it as any more than luck or a funny story or maybe somehow being charming. Until lockdown and needing to wear a mask. I enjoyed wearing a mask. Not spreading germs, but also the excuse to not engage people beyond the basics, but something else happened. Now I know misery was the business for 2020 to 2021, and 2022 depending on where you live, but I stopped getting free crap, free passes. It seemed like people were just not nice anymore. Like, legit. No one was ever friendly, and I was not used to that. It got me thinking that covering my face somehow affected my social coinage. It was a really bizarre reflection, and yes, life hits different again, now I don't wear a mask. I still don't think I'm haughty, but I do take my experience as a testament to pretty privilege. Story 19. Wouldn't consider myself a hottie unless I try and put myself together with makeup and dress nicely, but when I do, there's been perks. I've gone out of paying for a lot of stuff, also gotten let off with a lot of warnings from cops for speeding. Really good tips at work. Lots of compliments. Recently I got into a venue for free. Planned on paying once I got there, but tickets were sold out. I've gone out of paying for parking. People are usually very nice up front to me. Men are usually very helpful. I've never been nervous for a first date. There's been many downsides to it also. Jealous boyfriends, creepy strangers as well. Story 20. My hot voice got me a blind date, and I've met women from talking on the phone working at a tech support call center. I've been told by multiple people my voice is hot. One time in high school, a girl called my cell number by accident. She called 2 more times by accident, then started talking to me. She said my voice was hot and wanted to go on a date. Unfortunately, I'm not actually hot, and I'd rate myself a 5 to 6. She was cute, maybe a 7 in my opinion, but after like 30 minutes at a restaurant, she just had to leave. Story 21. It gives you more confidence and you don't have to constantly question if that guy's looking at you because you're insanely ugly or if it's because he likes you or thinks you're hot, which definitely helps with confidence. In a way, being a more confident person and putting yourself out there helps you get romance because of your personality and looks. A guy can be attracted to your personality or looks and later like you for both. I don't know how it works for less attractive people, but maybe a guy has to like them for their personality to really like them, so their chances are cut by quite a lot in the world right now. Still, other privileges like free stuff or more kindness are pretty nice. Well, every time after yoga, once I put stretching blocks back, the mat is always gone. Almost always someone holding the door open for you, people look at you and smile, and I've gotten a lot of free stuff from the places I go. Story 22. I was attractive when I was younger. Then I was 280 pounds, now I'm 125 pounds and have a full sleeve tattoo. I'm not a hottie, but the tattoo kind of makes me one, if that makes sense. My almost husband and I were on holiday recently and overheard the group of lads at the table next to us call me a total attractive mother. When I was younger and more conventionally attractive, I got every job I interviewed for. I worked in sales and the sales were incredibly easy. I was the top salesperson with zero effort and terrible product knowledge. As I gained weight, sales got so much harder and I had to work really hard, relying on impeccable knowledge, going above and beyond and truly using every word of my training to be the best. At 280 pounds, I was practically invisible. I always seemed to offend people or do something wrong. Any mistake I made was a big deal. People talked over me and waiting staff in restaurants often forgot about me. Now, at 125 pounds with a tattoo, I'm prioritized as a person again. I am served quickly at a bar, waiting staff in restaurants are helpful and attentive, and sometimes people let me go ahead of them in a queue. I don't get interrupted in conversations. Even went to a cafe and got offered a job after less than a 5-minute conversation with the owner. I no longer feel like every word I say could upset someone. Mistakes are just mistakes, not some deliberate, awful personality flaw. Strangers start conversations and people hold doors open for me. Story 23. Oh boy, do I have stories. I've experienced so many perks. Going to restaurants and having your table randomly paid for by another table. Getting free stuff everywhere you go around the world. It doesn't matter whether it's a regular place or a 5-star venue. And there are the job opportunities. Of course, you need intellect and personality, but looks give it a boost. Networking opportunities. This business owner I met owned 7 private jets, no red tape, at least 75% of the time. Getting away with minor trouble or mishaps, walking into places without reservations, Strangers going out of their way to make sure you're comfortable or get what you want, being treated with respect everywhere you go like you're royalty, getting special invites from boutiques or brands, etc. So many. But as a woman, there's also a lot of pestering from men and jealousy from women, plus competition for both men and women. I've been 125 pounds and I've been 106 pounds in my lifetime, and life was definitely easier at 106 pounds, with a face guard too, of course. People basically love you just for existing and are nice everywhere you go for no reason. All genders, all ages. Basically, the world around you turns into a concierge experience most of the time. Life is easier when you're hot or strikingly beautiful, but also, don't be a schmuck. Manners and being polite are of utmost importance, so that makes it last. Story 24. I'm not a very attractive guy, but I have a really nice voice. For context, I was a radio disc jockey for a few years. I used to deliver pizzas in a resort area for a living. One time I took a phone order for a bunch of college girls. They heard my voice and said, "And if you deliver it, we'll throw in a good tip." When I delivered the order, the girl who answered the door just kind of scanned over me briefly with a stank face expression. When the transaction finished and I was turning to leave, I heard her through the door. "They didn't send a hot guy, they just sent some ugly fat dude." And no, I didn't get a nice tip. Story 25. I get severely underestimated. It's very easy to make checkmate moves when you're not expected to know chess. This is great in terms of work, education, and group projects. It means I can normally get my stuff done without being noticed. Only applies to work. I'm never really lonely. Solo coffee day, treat for myself. Someone somewhere has started a conversation. Bar with the girls. Feels like they're just waiting for me to go to the bathroom or get a drink on my own to pounce. Single after a relationship, someone is always checking in. I get a lot of free stuff, drinks and snacks on my desk in the morning, extra cookies, random apply discounts, random conversation starters. I was at a sports bar playing pool with a guy I'm dating. He left to get chalk whilst I went to make my mark at my table. I was quickly immersed in a conversation about the first ever pool game. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button for more videos like this. Story 26. Went to a smoke shop with a friend. I was looking at a really nice rolling tray that had a cool design, but they were $30, so I passed. The guy working there goes, "Pick out anyone you want. I'll give it to you for free." He also gave me a free pre-roll. He didn't give one to my friend until she gave him a look and he'd given one to me first, probably to save face. But then the edibles I was buying were $5 above what I wanted to pay. So I was about to back out and he said, "No worries, $20 is fine," and rang me up. So basically I got a free $30 rolling tray, a free pre-roll, and $5 discounted edibles. When we walked out of the shop, we were like, did that really just happen? I don't even think I was wearing anything lavish. I had my hair down as usual and had eyeliner on with a red lip, which admittedly looked really nice with my green highlights. I wonder if that was it. Story 27. I don't know if I'd call myself hot, but I think I'm not bad looking. My husband thinks I'm pretty and I'm super fit. I play tennis 4 days a week and weightlift 2 days a week. I'd often get guys buying me drinks from the bar for free. My guy friends would also offer to drive me home after a late night out, even when my house is way out of the way from where they live. Random people are generally nicer. I get people smiling at me and I'd smile back at them to be polite. If I'm traveling solo on a plane without my husband, random strangers would go out of their way to help me put my carry-on luggage in the overhead compartment. Story 28. Don't know if I should respond because I'm not the hottest. I think I'm alright, but I make up for it in aura. I've seen people dunk on me when it comes to privileges. I'm a squishy girl, but I'll share. Free snacks, or food, or drinks. Every night that I'm on a night out alone, this happens. It happened once with a friend, but it occurs regularly when I'm by myself. Now that I'm older, they're sending top-shelf liquor and full-course meals. Professional modeling offers. I've been asked to model professionally in a major European city. Free tech repair. Complete strangers have offered free phone and laptop repair. Unexpected travel aid. A stranger once offered me a free ticket home. I was shocked. Complimentary event access. I don't want to tell where I live, but I've received free tickets to our major theater. Accidental road hazards. While in prime form, I've caused near-car accidents while walking down the street. Happened twice. One motorcyclist, one sedan. Tons of screeching and honking. I caught the motorcyclist looking because he almost passed away. Someone else told me about the sedan incident. Main character status. I've been called a main character. I now confidently act like it and I don't get too much flack for it. I just believe in seizing joy. Story 29. I'm an attractive man when I keep my weight in check, but not a hottie, I guess. But the difference in treatment is astonishing. When I look good, lower weight, face not fat, etc., I have it so much easier. People are nicer, like way, way, way nicer to me. I recently moved and making friends is so much easier than it was before. Also, I have benefits in getting jobs and women especially treat me way nicer. If the difference is so much for me, how much bigger is it for a real hottie? Story 30. The main thing is it's not the dramatic moment where people ask you on a date. It's that all day, every day. Things just seem quite nice, quite easy, and people seem happy to you. You can go about your day and just think the world seems quite pleasant. People smile at you, people check to see if they can squeeze you in, people accept returned items. People hold the door for you. People seem nice. People seem to have time and nothing bad seems to happen. People offer you the job. They say you're nice to work with. They invite you to the meeting. Clients that others say are mean seem okay. It's endless and subtle. A lot of this based on my wife's experiences. Story 31. I am one who also doesn't think they are very attractive. I just check a lot of conventional boxes, plus some unique ones, traits I find to be overly objectified. I'm 5'9", keep my weight around 140 pounds for health reasons, so an average body type. I have red hair, freckles, and green eyes. Those are the overtly objectified traits in general. Personality-wise, I'm friendly and kind. I used to think people were just being nice or just perverted in my young adult years. I thought of myself as gangly and awkward. I'm now 42 and keep waiting to age out and become invisible. I so desire being unnoticed in a crowd. I go to extremes to be boring or strange or weird with my appearance and dress. I shave my hair every 3 to 4 years and avoid letting the sun bleach it to keep the red at bay. Even bald, I still get comments, compliments, and solicitations from men. I had a brain injury 19 years ago, and part of the side effects of that is I lost the part of you that cares what the outside looks like. I call my physical self a sausage casing or avatar. I don't feel like I'm what I look like. So being received well just because of my appearance makes me angry. Story 32. Not a perk, rather a side effect. I've noticed people are a lot quicker to label you something that makes you imperfect to them. Some people call me arrogant even though we've never shared a conversation. The silver line between confidence and arrogance gets more jaded. When dating, girls are quicker to call me a player or heartbreaker, which is an interesting topic of discussion in and of itself. Pretty privilege is real, of course, although I think it applies more to women. It happened to me before. One thing for sure is people will be sure to let you know of your looks often. Story 33. As someone who has experienced both sides, 100 plus pounds overweight, down to being at a normal weight, decently built for the average person with a bit of muscle and a firmer jawline, pretty privilege is definitely a thing. I was always outgoing and confident despite my slovenly appearance, but I went from basically being ignored by others to warm smiles and way more attention and acceptance from all the gender spectrum after I started taking care of myself. I started getting referred to as big guy or boss, despite my technically smaller size, and getting hit on way more frequently, though not always, by both men and women. Side note, experiencing unwanted attention gave me a lot more of an appreciation for what attractive females must go through on a daily basis. Story 34. I am average, maybe above average in certain crowds, and I look young for my age, late 30s. However, I've also been very overweight for most of my life. I lost over 100 pounds and am now sort of fit, and the difference in how I'm treated is absolutely wild and kind of heartbreaking. If I visibly need help with something in public, someone always stops to help. People in service positions treat me so kindly, make small talk, and give me free stuff and discounts. If I go to a bar where there are single straight men, I almost always get hit on. Men bump into me casually all the time now. People compliment me in the street. Being a person in public is infinitely easier now. I can't imagine how the really beautiful people among us are treated if just being sort of fit and having a good smile results in this much difference in my day-to-day life. Story 35. I went to Costco and the cashier wouldn't stop chatting me up and giving me compliments about my looks. I then forgot to scan the bottom of my cart, so I got a bunch of stuff for free. Went to a party and all the girls there were taking pictures with me and dragging me around to do stuff with them. I could go to a bar and chat up the bartender for an hour or just sit in a random group of people and become the main attraction if there were women. Being attractive is great. Unfortunately, though, being attractive made me make a really bad decision that led to a deep depression. And now I'm like 100 pounds overweight. You genuinely do notice the difference in treatment. Story 36. I'm a male resident doctor, so naturally, I mess up with the nurses. Majority female from time to time. I always thought they were so nice and understanding about it until I saw my female colleague, same year as mine, do the exact same mess up with the exact same team of nurses. Oh my god, they were so unpleasant with her. I actually told her that I had done the same thing as her and how differently they had treated me. She was so nonchalant about it and said, "Of course. What did you expect? Did you really think they would be mean to a guy that looks like you?" I was baffled. Story 37. I know this is immensely stupid now, but when I was younger, I would always go into central London without any money to get back home, because I always knew someone would pay for my train back. Now it's mainly the occasional free stuff, people being nice to me, compliments, etc. Also, when I go to gigs or concerts, they usually assume I'm on the guest list. Also, getting accepted into members-only clubs and apps like Raya without referrals. Also, I'm one of the people who was ugly in school and turned hot when I got older. The difference in treatment is stark and enough to mess you up. Story 38. I've had the interesting opportunity to be thin and beautiful and then fat, like 300 plus pounds fat. While I'm objectively still pretty, most people cannot look past my body to care about my face. When I was smaller, men would trip over themselves to do anything for me. Starting at like 14, which was obviously creepy, but I thought it was just kindness. Any job I ever applied for, I got. People gave me free stuff all the time. People would hold doors for me or help me anytime I was trying to do anything, like putting luggage in the overhead bin. But as I got fatter, people stopped being nice. People avoid eye contact, won't sit next to me, don't talk to me, etc. Even to the point where a man closed a door he just went through while making eye contact with me, instead of holding it while I was pushing my baby in a stroller. If I'm completely honest though, I don't miss it like you'd think you would. All these kinds of things, from men, came with the unspoken feeling of the fact they were only doing it because they wanted something from me. Well, obviously, that's not the case 100% of the time. But when a leering dude gives you a job, you know you're in for a tough ride. But the best perk was always being told yes when others were told no. Story 39. I noticed two things: freebies and people showing you their best sides. I get free stuff a lot. On a good day, I'm above average in looks. There have been so many times I go to a store to buy something and they just give it to me without paying, or if they make something extra, they give it to me. Both men and women treat me well and show me their representative when meeting them. Even after knowing a person for a long time and never really meet their other side that others may encounter from them, it's hard to explain. This one is a privilege only because I typically don't have to interact with the mean side of people. Story 40. Former fat kid here, lost all the weight at age 20 and got in shape. I noticed opportunities came my way easier professionally. Dating became easier, and I noticed I just had a lot less negative interactions in life in general, like bumping into someone and being shouted at versus smiled at. If you're attractive, it's flirting. If you're not, you're being a creep. So naturally, I was terrified to flirt for a long time. I actually regressed socially for a while because of the realization that people treat you differently. Now I've just kind of accepted that it is what it is, but I definitely try to be nice to everyone as a result. Story 41. Number 1, people are generally nicer. At restaurants, stores, or events, I've had staff go out of their way to be friendly or give me small freebies. Extra fries, free drinks, that sort of thing. One time, a barista gave me a free muffin just because. No promo, no loyalty card, nothing. She just said, "It looks like you need a little extra today." I wasn't even sad, but I didn't complain. Number 2, I get away with more, socially. I've said awkward or borderline dumb things at parties that probably would have gotten someone else weird looks, but instead I get awkward laughs or teasing smiles. Have you ever had to tell a hopelessly dumb, awkward, or nerdy friend, thank God you're cute? Yeah, I'm the friend that gets told that. Number 3, people immediately assume I'm competent or trustworthy before I even prove it. I've had strangers ask me to watch their stuff for their kids in public. Number 4, been pulled over more than once, never been ticketed a single time. Number 5, if the professor is a woman or gay, they build rapport with me pretty easily. Story 42. I used to be hot when I was younger, and for example, I once showed up to the end of a line for a sold-out concert. The line was 4 to 6 hours long. I was pulled out with my best friend and let in without paying for the $160 ticket. I never actually paid an entry fee anywhere. I would order a drink at the bar and the bartenders would just wink and never ask me to pay. I would get my hair done or buy a dress, and instead of paying for it, they just ask me if they can take a photo of me for their socials and then give it to me for free. Crap like that. I never appreciated it. I'm 31 now and don't party anymore, but still notice how I have to grab someone's attention instead of it automatically being given to me. It's always made me mad, but now I just don't benefit from the privilege of being young. Story 43. I've gotten tons of free food and drinks. At clubs and bars, I only pay for my first drink. My friends love going out with me because I get free drinks for them as well. I once ran up over $500 in a guy's tab and he just paid without a word. Also, the extra meat and avocado in my food are always appreciated. On the downside, I cannot go on walks alone around my neighborhood without getting honked at or pestered. I've had men pull over to try to get or give me their number, which is scary and uncomfortable. When I go out alone to the clubs or bars or leave my group, I get objectified. I get followed when I go out shopping alone. Sometimes I wish I had an invisibility cloak so I can just live my life without the stares or objectifying. Story 44. I'm a decent-looking guy, but a couple of years ago, I bought a really nice cowboy hat in an estate sale. It fits me or my build really well. The first time I wore it out, immediate attention from women. Men giving me nods of approval, people going out of their way to talk to me. I started wearing it every day, and people go out of their way to interact with me. Some places throw in freebies, others offer me deals on things. The main perk is the confidence boost. Men look at me and see a hardworking man. Women look at me and see, ooh, a cowboy. Moral of the story, sometimes the right clothing or accessory can push you over the edge into hot territory. Story 45. I've got several. Whether some of these are perks are varied. Occasionally get free food. I'll order a smoothie and get told it's on the house. Get free cookies, extra plates of food, free drinks at bars, from bartenders or other patrons. One time I was just walking by a food stall and the worker waved me down to give me free food because they thought it was beautiful. I get offers to work at places, usually high-end retail, or told I should apply based on my appearance and style. Almost every person I meet comments on my appearance in a positive way, and I'm not referring to catcalling, though that has happened as well. This ranges from my partner's family telling him I'm beautiful and shopping me around events to show other people I'm pretty, meeting friends of friends who will tell me straight off the bat I'm very pretty, and when I was a child, people telling my parents I should act or model or do pageants. This happens almost every time. Random compliments from strangers happen all the time, especially from older women. I'll walk down the street and another girl or woman will stop me to compliment my hair or outfit, etc. My partner was in shock when we first started going out because it just happened so often and regularly. It's very easy for me to make friends. People will almost always be warm and kind and excited to include me, and even when they may not necessarily like me right away, I've been able to win them over, and they'll usually confess they thought I would be stuck up or they were jealous. Free invites to parties that usually require cover. Ability to skip the line at most nightclubs back when I was going a lot when I was single. Access to backstage areas for DJ booths. Invite to meet the DJ or invitations to sit at tables. Every time I would go out, a man will approach me and ask for my number or try to start up a conversation. It doesn't matter if my partner is there or not, or if I'm in a group of girls, if it's a casual bar or a nightclub. People will assume the best of me and my personality, though it does sometimes go the other way. Example, when I first got hired at my firm, I had a teammate who seemed skeptical or disliked me right off the bat. This teammate was not conventionally attractive and had a hard time getting along with other coworkers, so nobody would invite her out, although I would always pass the invitation to her. I wanted to be friends, or at least friendly. I was invited to happy hours immediately, considered popular and well-liked by executives, and other coworkers would always say teammates were jealous of me and trying to bully me. It even escalated to HR. I'd been there for a month. Other women will try to appeal to me and impress me, which is amazing because I love making female friends, but this occasionally happens to the detriment of other friends. One time, a girl we were hanging out with brought a cake for another friend's birthday and excitedly shared it was my favorite type of cake, but also is the birthday girl's favorite type of cake. People will identify me and look out for me. I once got annoyed at a partner in a nightlife area. I went outside the bar and people immediately were asking me if I was okay. I wasn't intoxicated but looked upset. When my ex approached me, a literal mob of people swarmed up to protect me. I had to tell these strangers he was my boyfriend before they let him speak to me. Other times, bartenders or other patrons will let me know if someone is eyeing me and ask if I don't want the attention or not, or intervene in conversations to make sure I'm okay or not being bothered. Story 46. When I was young, I was definitely very attractive, but at the time I didn't know it, nor did I appreciate it. I see pictures now and I'm so mad that I didn't know I was that attractive. But my experience was more of a, why are those people staring at me? Am I not dressed appropriately for this occasion? Is my hair doing something weird? I was always uncomfortable in social situations. I also suspect that sometimes people are mean. I'm now postmenopausal, gray, and grandmotherly. I experience none of this anymore. I have more friends and people generally comment on how nice I am, so there's that side of it as well. Story 47. There have been quite a few times when I go out to eat with friends that the waiter focuses on me in that group. I've gotten discounts before too. I once did 20 over the speed limit and got pulled over. I was fully braced for the worst, but the cop came back after running my cards and said he was letting me go without even so much as a warning. He suggested that I must have come off the interstate and missed the speed limit change, which was true, but I didn't have a chance to explain myself before he said that. Lots of folks are nice to me and will go out of their way for random acts of kindness. Strangers wait a bit longer to hold doors open for me, and taller folks help me grab items off the top shelf. I was formerly a bigger girl. Back when I was heavier, I never really experienced any of this, and certainly not to this degree. Ironically, the bigger I was, the more people couldn't see me. Story 48. As the designated ugly friend growing up, I have many examples of my friends' privileges. My friends got free food all the time, something I was most jealous of. If they asked guys to stop pestering or tickling them, they'd actually stop and respect her. Not me. They would tickle me for this reason, they'd tickle the hottie just to touch her. I get men coming up to me every single week asking for my friends' numbers and interests. I had a friend getting her luxury facial wash and creams for free because she modeled for the company once. I had a friend get us into a rock show for free. They really almost didn't let me in until my hot friend defended me. As a duff, I've never had someone buy me a drink until I was already in a long-term committed relationship and it was my 30th birthday. I think it just felt bad for me being mostly alone on my birthday, all while my friends would be asked left and right what they're drinking. You realize pretty privilege is very much a thing when you're not the pretty one. Well, if you like these stories, here's more. YouTube thinks you're gonna love this. Catch you in that video.